Guess what, dude?
What?
Straight off. I went on an accidental Zack Snyder kick this weekend.
Okay, what does that mean?
Don't feel like watching movies, so I'll watch people guess them instead. I don't know how it goes, I think it starts with your show.
Accidental Zack Snyder kick, and it made me think about his repertoire,
His
where
legacy.
where I stand on it, or at least my favorites in it. So Hayden and I, around this time of year, we end up watching scary movies.
I love that. I love that for you and your daughter. Did you think it
Great.
would have been you and your son?
It still might be. He's still
It
young.
still might be, yeah, because Hayden didn't really hitch her britches to the horror train until she was a little older, right?
Yeah, we started watching. Unfortunately, the worst thing to probably introduce your daughter to is American Horror Story.
But yeah.
During the pandemic, when she was younger, we went through the whole series, and that kind of started it. And I think her curiosity started with it, which makes sense because
It's a gateway
Things-
drug.
Yeah, Stranger Things kids being in it, and it kind of like I think ushered her into it. So since then, it's been we get to watch horror movies together. When my brother goes to bed and my wife goes to bed, we'll stay up late and we'll watch movies. So I introduced her to one of my favorites, Dawn of the Dead.
Okay.
Zack Snyder.
It's very good. It's very good.
It's so good. It's a great flick, and it was his first.
No shit, really? I didn't know that.
That was his first movie, and I love it. It's very, very good. I think it holds up. It's super fun. It's, as far as a zombie flick goes, it's the fast zombies.
Yeah,
just-
it's a high octane zombie movie.
and I think it was new at the time. I can't remember if 28 Days Later came out before or after that, but this was like fast zombies. What the hell? So, anyways, very, very, very good. Then I also tripped and fell into and went through it very quick. The Twilight of the Gods on Netflix.
What's that?
It's an animated old school Roman gods versus humans animated Zack Snyder pick. So it's full of violence, it's full of nudity and sex. It's great.
When did that come out? I never heard of that.
Just earlier this month. 8
Oh,
episodes.
it's new.
Really, really fun. He produced it, directed 1 or 2 of the episodes, I think. But I just finished it this morning, and it's awesome. It's really
Wait.
fun.
So you went from the very first movie he did
Yeah.
to the newest project he has his name on.
Yep.
Wow. Does it, I mean, it's animated, so there isn't much of a comparison between the two.
No, but it's highly recommended. I would say that a lot of people think maybe 300 is. Well, I think there's people out there that think 300 is his best film.
Well, I think there's many people that think that Batman v Superman is his opus,
Interesting. But
which is yes, definitely interesting.
this Twilight of the Gods, I think, harkens back to like his ability to direct and tell very machismo, action-oriented stuff. However, he's also doing his Zack Snyder thing, much like Sucker Punch and I think Rebel Moon recently. Very strong leading female character kicking ass, which is kind of what happened in Dawn of the Dead too, a little bit.
Agreed. Yes, Sarah. It's not Sarah. Who's that? Who is it? It's Sarah Polly. It's Sarah Polly.
Yeah.
I was thinking I thought it was Sarah Polly, but I was like, Sarah Polly was like a '90s rom-com actor, wasn't she?
I don't even know what else she did, honestly.
I thought I feel like she was in those Can't Hardly Wait kind of movies. Like she would pop up in those.
She's like one of those fall-offs with Seth Green.
Yeah, yes, exactly. Dude, there was a Seth Green. Have you heard of Ticks?
The horror movie?
The horror movie, yeah.
Like a long time ago, right? Not recent.
No, it's real old. Yeah, it's like mid '90s maybe, or maybe late '90s.
Yeah.
But Matt, Rob, and I go through like forgotten, cheesy movies to show off at our Movie Wanna show. Excuse me. Let me die. I gotta die.
It sounds like you're at Movie Wanna right now.
Yeah, boy. But we we look through some like trash piles of movies because, we're trying to skirt around the legality of showing like, like a 28 Days Later or something. We're not going to show like a big
Yeah,
movie like that. So we're just kind of showing like
Mystery
forgotten.
Science theatering it.
Exactly. Like if it's in the public domain, even better. But that Ticks movie, not necessarily in the public domain, but we were like looking at it and it had like a really young Seth Green in it. And he was like the hero, but he played like this nerd.
Well, there he is. Yeah, I'm looking at it. 1993. That dude's been around forever.
And how old was Seth Green in 1993? Are we like the same age?
He's a little older than us. Let's see here. Seth Green, birth date is 74.
What the fuck? He's older than my brother.
Yeah, dude. He was blessed with that young juice.
So he's like, so he's like 47?
Yeah, dude, blessed with the young juice for sure. Because if he's born in 74, 94, he's 20. Up until like 2000, 2004, he's playing high schoolers.
Dude, he was born in 74 and he's 47. That's gotta be, there's gotta be some significance to that.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
You know what I mean?
We're numerologying here.
Damn, I was born in 82 and I'm not gonna live to be 82, but when I turn 28, I wonder if something, I wonder if the reverse numbers happen. Is that crazy? Is that a crazy thought?
He's 50, dude.
Wait, what? Is he?
74 to 2024.
77, 78, 79, 43, 44, or 79. Shit, okay. My math is real bad this morning.
74 to 24. 50 years.
That makes sense, yeah. I was going by, my brother was born in 79, and he's 3 years older than me.
You did like that weird unnecessary
New
math.
I had to do it. I had to do new math because couldn't learn the old one.
Isn't that nuts? He was playing high schoolers and just young dudes up until like 2005.
I know. And it's funny to like, cuz I'm sure he still does the voice of that guy on fucking Family Guy, right?
Yeah.
And that's a young guy in that one too. And I feel like Billy West, Billy West, who's classic VO guy. He does the voice of like Fry on Futurama, and he's like 90 years old or so. He's very old. Like, can you find out how old Billy West is really quick?
Sure, Billy West. I did a video at React where I was treating young kids to new or snacks from every decade since 1920.
Oh, that's fun.
And in the 90s, I did fruit roll-ups, and I found this old fruit roll-up animated commercial where this kid's just going crazy and eating all these different colors, red, green, and yellow.
Was it Christian Bale or some shit?
Very much Billy West, because all he is doing is Fry's voice.
Dude, but it's so funny that, like, when they were like, because Futurama's been canceled and reinstated like 9 times at this point, and I can't. I don't want to say that like there's a certain amount of times you can do that before it's not like interesting anymore, but the new Futurama is not so good. Like, have you watched any of it?
Yeah, just a little bit of like the original juice. The original writing isn't quite there, so the magic isn't as thick, but it's still characters every once in a while, so you're like,
that's the thing about cartoons is like, it's fun to see them like doing shit again, but there's just something about like if it's too many years beyond its best days, there's just something different about it. And whatever.
Into the characters are so established that I think new writers have a hard time like reinventing them in new episodes. It's almost like they're Mad Libs versions of themselves. I think that happens with Simpsons. Like the new
I think you're right. Mad Lib's a good example because it really is. It's like we have these established characters that people love, and but they know how they'll react. They love them so much they know how they'll react to certain situations. Yeah. And these new writers come in and maybe they don't have the handle on them like the fans do, which is always the case, Yeah. And I think fan expectations don't quite match up with what the new folks are doing. But the one indication.
Billy West,
Yeah,
72 years old.
72.
72. And in comparison, John DiMaggio, Bender's voice, is only 56.
Dude, I told you my John DiMaggio story out on Comic-Con. That was like a bizarre,
Just like drunkenly wandering
just
through
drunkenly yelling at us and screaming "Bonesaw is ready." and, and you know, we were with our friend that does voiceover stuff, and so he was like kind of the glue that kind of got John DiMaggio to kind of come over to us and talk to us for a second. But my favorite part was us like leaving, like walking away, and you could still hear him yelling at us, and it just sounded like Bender was screaming at us from like, you know, down the block.
Dude, that's such a Comic-Con story. I love how there's Hollywood stories and then there's Comic-Con stories.
I know. Most of the Hollywood stories involve real gross, horrible shit. And the Comic-Con ones are kind of gross too, but they're funnier. But the one thing I was going to say about Futurama really quick, and then we can go back to Billy West and even back to Zack Snyder.
Look at us going back and forth season.
Let's go back. Let's not just gloss over this shit, because there's things to talk about in each one of these little pockets we've been forming in the universe.
So many pockets in our pants.
Pockets, and listen, we need to bring back utility pants and shorts, cargo shorts.
They're coming, dude.
They better, because I've got pairs and pairs of them that I put in the do not wear these unless you want to look lame box.
I hope you kept your baggy ass 90s pants, because all the kids be wearing them now.
It's so funny to see that shit, because there's a time when it gets to a point where you're like, oh, you look lame now, but there was a time where it looked cool for a minute too, so you have to like really you have to pay attention to the turnings of the tide, which is
I've got a picture of me and Phil DeFranco at like the first YouTube get together. It was YouTube Live in like 2009 or something like that, and we are wearing the whitest, baggiest, no definition pants. If I post that now, dude, we'll be cool again.
Yeah, you're right. People would be like, damn, you guys were fashion forward.
We were.
I've never been seen as a fashion person. Like, I've got some of the chunkier boys going like, yo, your style is fucking good, bro. But no one's ever been like, damn, dude, that guy's got some good style.
Dude,
I've never been ahead or behind the curve.
Ditto, same thing. Always like at least 2 years behind. Chunkier Boys is my favorite Fat Boys tribute band.
The Fat Boys are a very underappreciated band, which we'll get back to once we go back to Futurama, go back to Billy West, and then go back to Zack Snyder. So that's the list here. So
then back in time, back to reality.
And then back, yeah, exactly. And then back to the future. And then back to the beach.
Yes.
Do you remember that movie, Back to the Beach? It's got Frankie and Annette. Frankie and Annette are very old in it. Speaking of Frankie, you seen them Frankie Valley videos?
Wait, what? No.
No? Okay, I'll pull one up for us to look at in a minute here. It's really sad and fucked up, but we're going to laugh about it because we have to laugh at horrible things, and or we'll lose our minds.
Yes, sir.
So anyway, what I was going to say about Futurama was they came back like a few months ago, like 2 or 3 months ago?
Really recent, yeah.
And the first episode was basically like, oh God, what was it? Oh, it was like NFTs.
Oh.
It was like Futurama's take on NFTs. And I'm like, really? We're done with the NFTs, I think.
Look, these episodes are in production for a while.
I know, but isn't it so like it kind of had it was giving like when some relative shares something on Facebook that is like really, it's funny, but it's old. It's like an old meme or something, and you're like, okay, well, you're trying.
To be fair, Futurama kind of is like your uncle on Facebook.
I know, and I don't want it to be like that. Like, hey, there's always like, we always talk about like, is there a moment when, it's easier to bow out and not try to like really rip through the, like keep the Band-Aid on essentially. And, on one hand, I totally understand it because look at us, we're still trucking through on this podcast, which
Yeah.
many people enjoy and love, and does well, and then or does well in the sense that people enjoy it. And I think if there's 15 people, Joe, that are like, this podcast brings me joy, then that's more than enough reason to do it, right?
You were gonna say, then that's more than the number of people that enjoy the new
That
future.
enjoy the new Futurama.
Hate
I
it.
mean, maybe.
Hate it. Oh, I thought she was down here talking to somebody else because she's watching it or watching it. I wanted to get her opinion on
Oh, I
it.
wonder how the youth feel about it. Yeah,
That's what I was
like
gonna say. Like, maybe they like it a little bit more, and that's fine.
maybe. I don't know. There's just too much shit out there. Too many cartoons, too many shows, too many movies, too
It's
many
unbelievable. Too much
everything.
crap.
Too
Oh, I
much
also
crap.
watched. We'll get back to all these other things too. I watched. I saw the TV Glow, but we can get back to that later.
Dude, yes, I would love to talk about that with you. And so, okay, so, and then Billy West, the one thing I wanted to say about Billy West is he still does Fry, and Fry is like, what, like a 25-year-old or
Mhm.
something? And,
Perpetually,
and the voice is it's not working out too well
you can hear it. He's
because
just
it's a
so good.
72-year-old man doing the voice of a 25-year-old.
Good for him, still being able to pull it off a little bit.
Oh, absolutely. I think it's enough to fool most people and be like, yeah, this works, but it's like very much like, man, it's like when you go back and watch footage of yourself or see a clip of yourself from like fucking 15 years ago or something, or 10 years ago, and you're like, even my voice energy, like the force in which my voice came out of my face
Yep.
was so much more energetic than it is now. Like you could feel the energy level lowering from as the years go on.
It's the same thing with all like every Indiana Jones that comes out. You're just like, it doesn't feel the same.
I wish I didn't care so much about how that is a thing. Like I guess I just don't want to be reminded about my mortality
Or theirs.
or theirs.
Yeah.
But I don't want it to be in my favorite things. The things that I love is like escapism, Like, so I don't want to just like go to my escapism, my safe place, and then see someone who's clearly on their way out in the mortal coil, and then I'm like, well, I guess people age. That's a fact of life. But
Yeah.
Beetlejuice's energy level is not so good.
Oh,
in
Beetlejuice's energy level was rough.
And it's like that's a character that demands an energy level that's like more than your average human.
Yeah. And I still love the MK, the Michael Keaton, but man, Beetlejuice he was asleep.
Dude, let's talk about once we're done talking about because now we've finished the Futurama talk, we've finished the Billy West talk. Now let's go to Zack Snyder for a second, and then we could go back to I saw the TV Glow, and then wait, there was one more just now.
Other thing.
What
What was
was
it?
Oh
I
my
don't
god, we're flying around too fast.
It's okay. Well, it'll come to us. Zack
Okay,
Snyder.
so Snyder. So I'll say this. I don't I don't hate Zack Snyder.
Yeah, me either.
Sometimes I see him do things on like as a person and I'm like, "Oh, that's like that guy is like a bro. He's like a masculine bro guy." And but then I see that he does like cool nerdy shit and respectfully handles cool nerdy shit in a cool way. And then I'm like, okay, so it's just one of those things where like it's probably better if we don't really like care about what he's doing in his personal life, or like separate the art from the artist kind
Sure.
of thing.
I mean,
So
I guess I don't know, but like he's never done anything super problematic or anything, right?
no. It's just that when you see him in clips and stuff, and like when you see him on the set, he's just like really bro-y. He's
Yeah,
just like,
you're bro. This is just you as a human having bro aversion.
yes, exactly. And just because the bros were like bullies to me and stuff, so I have this aversion to like the bro-y,
Gotcha.
like the Ryan Reynolds kind of thing. Anyway, so But I really do love his version of Watchmen.
Yeah, it's great. That's one of the things that I was going to bring up.
It's so good. And a lot of like comic snobs or movie snobs are like, he didn't do the squid and, blah, blah, blah. But he took an unfilmable property, like something that I think we've talked about this before. I've talked about this before. Terry Gilliam almost did a Watchmen movie.
That would have been wild.
Right? He was like attached to it in the 80s or 90s or something like that. And he was like, I can't make this. This is an unmakeable movie. And so for a really long time, the Watchmen property was known as an unfilmable property. Like, you can't make this. And Zack Snyder was just like, yeah, I can. And then he made a really good movie. Mm-hmm. And people complain about, I don't know how well a lot of our listeners know the Watchmen story. Or Joe, you know about the squid in Watchmen. And did you watch the Watchmen, the Damon Lindelof show? Fucking perfect. That's a lightning in a bottle show. But anyway, so, the book has a thing where there's this giant squid that appears in New York and it kills like millions of people. And it's really gruesome and fucked up and weird. But the concept is really bizarre. And I think that what he was doing is he was saving the movie-going audience from having to swallow the concept of a giant squid showing up in this like kind of grounded in reality version of the Watchmen story that he was doing.
Right.
And so a lot of people were really pissed off and have like a lot of bad feelings about him not doing the squid thing. But I think that by now, so in our year of our Lord 2024, R.I.P. I think that there are now many iterations of Watchmen. Rest in peace to the Lord.
Oh, that's so funny. I'm probably going to do that all the time now.
Yeah, when someone says when someone mentions the Lord.
Yeah.
Rest in peace. Like on Christmas Day. Merry Christmas, everybody. And let's not forget that this was the day that Jesus was born. And rest in peace. Oh, that's pretty funny.
I love that's gonna be some feather ruffling.
But anyway, what I want to say is that like, there's so many versions of Watchmen now. There's like the motion comic and the movie and the TV show and the comics, and then there's a new animated one that just came out.
And Alan Moore hates all of them.
Yes, he does. And Alan Moore hates everything. Alan Moore hates life. But anyway, so I'm of the belief that because we have so many versions of Watchmen that exist, Snyder's is the one without the squid, and Watchmen.
Squidless Watchmen.
It's a squidless Watchmen, and I'm okay with that. And I think that it's the movie works. That movie works.
It's a fun watch, and the performances are amazing. And I think
good.
It's a further indication. A lot of people, and I think probably rightfully so to a point, are a little kind of like iffy on the storytelling side of Zack Snyder.
Sure.
It's a swing and a miss, or it's not as strong. But one of the best visual directors.
Oh, absolutely.
The way he composes a scene, the way he does action, is amazing, and it's like eye candy to watch. And when he does combine that with good storytelling, I think is just a very, very enthralling director. And I wanted to bring him up because, again, I really liked this Twilight of the Gods. Dawn of the Dead was one of my favorite movies. That's
good.
Watchmen was also very good, and I enjoy those Zack Snyder things. I never really got into his superhero stuff as much, but Rebel Moon, also not the greatest storytelling, great visual attempt at something.
You watched that? You watched Rebel Moon?
Yeah.
It came out like last year or something, right? Or like beginning of this one?
Year. Yeah.
It's the one with that woman who has the knife feet from the knife leg woman from Kingsman.
Oh, is that who she is? Yeah, I don't know.
That woman that's like in a bunch of Zack Snyder stuff.
Really good. I mean, she's a good actress, but the movie is a good attempt at trying to make a new Star Wars outside of the fact that it just feels like it's really compressed and fast.
I see.
You don't really fall in love with the characters. It's one of those things where it's like You know, I think this is very Zack Snyder-ish too, but it's one of those tropes where it's like, let's get a team together, and they go get this guy, and then you get this guy, and then you get this guy, but it happens so fast that you don't fall in love with anybody.
But it's probably still also 3 hours long because he loves to do his long ass fucking thing. Is it
Yeah,
long?
it's two parts,
Yeah, so it is. So it's like 4 hours long.
something like that. Yeah.
Damn, that's crazy. Isn't it crazy that like even though he had that much time to like build and develop these characters, like you still don't get to spend the time that you need to like develop them and like, I don't get what all that time is for.
Sometimes I don't know. I think it takes a very adept storyteller to be able to do that trope effectively. Oh gosh, I'm having a brain fart. What was the Star Wars movie with the blind Jedi guy?
Oh, was it Rogue One?
Rogue One. Rogue One is one of those movies. They're going around and they're like assembling a team.
Mm-hmm.
That team does something. But Rogue One made me care about all the characters, and I don't know what the difference is. There's a science there.
It might be a combination of casting, acting, and writing, because I think the
Sure.
cast of Rogue One is like perfect. It almost felt like it was the first time you got like a serious dramatic cast, and then you like didn't. And then the director didn't direct it like a silly space opera. They directed it like we're doing like a serious Civil War kind of like, the little guys fighting the big guys, but it's not funny. It's like the first Star Wars movie that isn't like kind of cheeky.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, it was like a grounded action movie in space.
Yeah, yeah. And I think that maybe it's like, you take that world that and you're already expecting a quality, but then when they like flip the switch and they're like, this is not going to be like tongue-in-cheek and fun. This is going to be like kind of like, where this is going. It's like a Titanic kind of vibe where you're like, these guys are all fucking doomed,
Mm-hmm.
but it's compelling still,
Yeah, we knew that movie is fascinating because we knew what the end game was.
Yeah.
But we still like maybe they're gonna make it. Maybe everything.
I know there is that stupid thing. Even when you watch Titanic now, you're like, maybe this time, maybe this time, and it's like, no, no, no. And it's just that hope of humanity that you want to see people prevail.
The hope of maybe this is a Quentin Tarantino retelling of history.
Dude, isn't it funny? Like, I don't think he can do that again. Because
He's
now
been
we're
doing it a lot lately.
I know, but so like when Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, when I remember seeing it in the theater for the first time, and I did not expect him to do the fucking Inglorious Bastards thing.
Neither did I.
And then when it happens, you're like, oh, I love it. Like, okay, this is the second time he's done this, so now I'm like gonna half expect it if he does another historical thing or whatever. But now, but some part of me was like, we just need Tarantino revisionist history movies. We need a whole bunch of them.
It's very I can. Is there any other examples of people that so famously did that?
No, I don't think so.
Like this revenge fantasy fulfillment.
Yeah.
Such an odd cinematic move. We didn't expect it with Inglorious Bastards.
Right.
We just get blown away.
like a cartoon, and like literally like a cartoon. Bullets into the face, like
Everybody
pie.
explodes. Like it's crazy. And then with Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, it's the same thing. God, we're about to see the most horrible thing, and then it's dog food canned to the face. And you're like,
flamethrowers. Like there's a fucking flamethrower. You're like, what? Well, hold on. This borders on inappropriate. but it revises the history in a way that is like more satisfying than what happened.
Yeah.
But I wonder, do you think that as a side effect, as a result of that, there's gonna be people that believe that
Yes.
that's what happened.
Yes.
He's
That's
like, I don't
Once
give
Upon a Time in
a
Hollywood documentary.
fuck. And if you ask Tarantino how he feels about that, he'd be like, I don't give a shit. Movies
No.
aren't real. If you think movies are real, then it's your fault for thinking that happened. But I want to see Tarantino do a 9/11
Oh my god!
revisionist.
Wow, like Oliver Stone did his thing like 2 days after it happened. He's like, I made a movie, and then you see what happened, like what they think happened on '93, and then God, Tarantino would have somebody save the day. Sam Jackson would
Yeah,
be
there's
on
like
set.
maybe there's a reveal, like the plane is like full of like regular actors, and then suddenly in the back, like Sam Jackson is like, he gets up and he's like, ain't no terrorists on my motherfucking plane.
But he does a thing where it's like actually Sam Jackson at Sam Jackson.
Yeah. I'm so sad Tarantino is like retiring or retiring.
I don't believe it for a second.
I know he loves movies too much, but
Maybe
he's taking forever to make this new one though.
maybe he doesn't do for a while. He doesn't do a movie, but
Yeah.
I could see him jumping in and doing some like really kick-ass Netflix
Dude,
art series.
yeah, he dipped his toes into that, pun intended, because he likes toes,
Loves toes.
and that maybe that's not a pun.
It's a no. Well, no, it was a good no.
Maybe
no.
it's a little bit of it's a reach.
You should have said he dipped her toes.
Her toes, but there was like that. Do you even remember this when what's it called? What's the one where they're in the snow and
Wait.
Hateful Eight? They took Hateful Eight and they turned it into like a series. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
They put that on Netflix, I think.
I remember what you're talking about.
And, yeah, it's like an extended version of the Hateful Eight. Like it had like added stuff, and it had like,
Because that was just it was a long play.
yeah, exactly. And I think he like that was his attempt at being like, could I do like a series or something?
Maybe he does something with animation. That'd be kind of cool. A Tarantino.
That would be cool.
That'd be
Well,
great.
there was that little animated moment in Kill Bill 2.
Mm-hmm.
Remember where there was like an anime?
Yeah, maybe I could see him do an anime. I could see him maybe actually do some theater. I could see him write a play, or I could see him do like a Tarantino, Kevin Smith-esque like one-man show tour thing where he's just talking.
He
and-
kind of did do like a thing. Like, remember what was it? What maybe it was Hateful Eight. There was like a leak, like they leaked the script or something. Do you remember
really?
this? It was like someone leaked one of his scripts and he got like so pissed off that he was like, I'm not making this anymore.
Oh, I do kind of remember.
Remember? And then what he ended up doing was he did like a live read through of it or something. And then everyone was like, well, now you got to make this into a fucking movie. I don't know if it was Hateful Eight or not, but he's kind of like, it was weird because like there was this time where Tarantino news was like, he's pissed off his script was leaking, now he's not making it anymore, and he's making this new thing. There were all these rumors, and then remember he was attached to Star Trek for a little while.
Really?
Yeah, dude. They were like Tarantino's gonna make a Star Trek because Paramount was just like, fuck it, like make a Star Trek. Why not? And could you imagine a Tarantino Star Trek? Like, what would that even be like?
I wonder if he'd just make it all on the ship and it's just about like the inner like politics
Yeah.
and the bureaucracy and the bullcrap of trying to manage a Starfleet.
Starfleet, yeah, that would have been, and there were talks about that happening for so long, and it
Interesting.
was like essentially greenlit, and everyone was like, "Well, I guess we're getting a fucking Tarantino Star Trek. Like, this is crazy." And then nothing, and then he was like, "No, now I'm going to make a movie called The Critic, and it's about a movie critic, and it's going to star Leonardo DiCaprio." And then he was like, "Nah, I don't want to make that anymore." It's like, what the
That was
fuck?
really recent.
Yeah, dude. And then he said he wasn't going to make it anymore because he's like, maybe he didn't want to make, because I think he wanted to make a movie that was like commentary on film critics. And I think he saw his legacy ending with a movie about movies, you know?
Yeah. But
but
that's a
he,
little on the nose, Tarantino.
I just like at this point, dude, like I don't think there's any other director other than maybe Wes Anderson that keeps making like really good movies where you're just like it's hard to be disappointed. So I think I'd just kind of take anything he wants to make at this point.
Yeah, he's probably one of the ones. For sure. Yeah. It'll be interesting to see what that last one is. Last one, but
I know it's gonna totally. Who's the other one that keeps retiring and then coming back? There's like a bunch of like Michael Caine and or no, Michael Caine hasn't been back.
no, he's done so far. So far. Oh, you know another one that walked away and didn't come back? Gene Hackman.
Whoa, I didn't even think about that.
Remember when we got Gene Hackman all the time?
In everything, in
Yeah.
everything,
Yeah,
dude.
Sean
And then,
Connery.
well, yeah, Connery. You're right, Connery. Well, dude, I think Sean Connery retired, and then he made like one more movie, and it was that really bad animated thing. Have you seen this? Let me see.
Oh.
Hang on. Sean Connery animated movie. Yeah, Sir Billy. Let's watch this trailer.
What the hell is Sir Billy?
Is not good, is what it is.
Oh, that's wild.
Let's watch this trailer really quick because
Sir Billy.
Sir Billy. Oh my god, it's like watch the whole movie online.
Because it's that bad?
Yeah.
Oh, no.
Oh,
What
dude, you're not gonna believe this.
What year did it come out?
Like, that's a good question. Let me
The
see.
internet? We can
Like
look.
2013.
Whoa.
Yeah. Okay,
Last
hold
movie?
on.
Oh, my God.
All right, look at this.
2012. Oh, my gosh. That is some horrible animation. Oh, my God.
Yeah, it's real bad looking.
Wonder how much he got for that.
Wow, the trailer has 14 seconds of nothing. Oh wait, you can't hear this, can you?
No, I
Wait,
can't.
hold on. No, I can't.
Can't hear anything.
Wow, I can't wait to see this. I can't hear shit.
Wow. The poster is frightening.
Dude, it looks like this.
In the deepest, darkest highlands, where evil lurks.
This must have been a favor
and
to someone.
tragedy
That's what I was
unfolds.
thinking, too. Oh, no.
There lies a secret.
Is that John Bailey?
I've never seen this trailer.
Oh, no.
Oh, he's like an animal catcher, a dog catcher or something.
Kind of looks like him. He's on a skateboard. Oh, my God.
A grandpa, Sir Sean Connery, is Sir Billy.
Sir Sean Connery.
Billy to my friends.
Oof.
It's a race against time. And the odds.
It's kind of like, did you ever see that food fight movie that came
Yeah,
out?
yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of
Yeah.
like that.
You guys should watch Sir Billy at,
Dude, that's
Oh.
really not a bad idea. God, that's such a good idea. I think I have to text Matt.
wow.
Sir Billy.
Oh, yeah, total favor. Probably a family member is part of the production. He's like, yeah, I'll do it. Because the
yeah.
last thing he did before that, wasn't it The League of Extraordinary Gentlemen?
Yeah, and that was like his last live action movie.
Man, wow.
And then this was like his last movie. Could you imagine his legacy is like, because when he passes away, that's going to be fucking crazy. You're going to be like, dude, Sean Connery, that's the end of an entire era of Hollywood and film and everything. And then you're going to be like, because, whenever some actor passes away, you're always like, well, I wonder what the last movie they did was.
Mhm.
And you're going to look it up and be like, what the fuck is Sir Billy? And you're like, uh-oh.
Insurgents. It's going to go back into theaters. Like 30 million.
They're going to be one of those boutique Blu-ray companies is going to
Yeah.
release like a 20th anniversary.
Man. So Tarantino talked about him, but while you said Star Trek, it made me go, first of all, that first J.J. Abrams Star Trek is so good.
Dude, it's so good. Were we talking about this? Who was I
I
talking
think
about this
recently we talked about it, maybe even here, but it's so good. It's solid as hell, holds up, cast is amazing, director is great. Did you see that, like, JJ hasn't done anything since Star Wars?
Dude, I know. And I just recently, my friend made a documentary about Lost,
Oh, yeah.
and I went to the premiere, and I got to see the movie, and it's really good. It's a love letter to Lost, and they got JJ in it, and JJ's all over it, and he's like talking about Lost and like making it, and they were talking about how when they were making the pilot, he was just like, he met with like the cinematographer, and the cinematographer was like, usually, you know, when we're gonna make a movie or a show or something, I'll go to the director's house or something, and we'll watch some movies that like are in the vein of what we're trying to make, and or we'll like go through a lookbook of things. And he said when he went to JJ to talk about what he wants Lost to look like, he said, "I don't give a shit. Just try to win some awards."
I don't give a shit. Whatever.
Yeah, he didn't give a shit. But yeah, JJ, I think JJ is probably, I mean, isn't it crazy how the fan base of some fucking dumb shit is like enough to drive people away from like Hollywood, away from the
You think he's got a little
spotlight?
burnt out? I mean,
I
because
think
he did, you know, two of the biggest sci-fi franchises ever, which is interesting in and of itself. But then you go back, I think Super 8 is a super, super solid movie.
I need to rewatch it. I think I was expecting something a bit more, and I feel like he turned the Spielberg up to 11, and maybe like lost a little bit of the other important stuff because he was concentrated too much on making a Spielberg looking thing. But I also maybe am not being fair enough to it. I need to watch it again.
Good flick. I really like it. I also contend he made the best Mission Impossible. I love Mission Impossible.
Dude, that Mission Impossible series, can I say a little bit of a hot take that might get me in trouble with some of the Brits?
Uh-oh. You're about to say it's better than Bond.
I am about to say that. I think the Mission Impossible series is better than the James Bond series.
I think that's not a crazy take. I think you're probably not on an island. I think you just have to acknowledge that James Bond paved the way.
I guess so.
Yeah.
James Bond beat women, abused women so that Ethan Hunt could.
That clip is so fuck wild.
Dude, it's crazy how beloved that series is, and then you watch it and you're like, oh my god, women are like treated like the way they used to treat animals in movies.
Like Milo and Otis. But
Yeah, it's like, oh, we lost another one. Hey, get another one. Hey,
throw another one in the river.
oh shit, that river shot we just lost an Otis.
Don't worry, we got 7 of them from the same
river. Get his brother.
Oh.
They did kill some of those Bond women, right? Because they painted that girl gold and she like died from the poisoning of the.
I don't know. Is that true?
Yeah, it's either that or the Tin Man. I can't remember.
Those are two very different facts.
Okay, hold on. We're gonna fact check. Okay, hold on. James Bond gold paint death.
It's just asbestos and lead.
Her character. Oh no, that's just. Wait. Okay, it's a myth.
Okay, there we go. I'm glad we double checked.
It's Goldfinger and the myth of a Bond girl's death. Many think Goldfinger actress Shirley Eaton died during filming after being painted gold, but is this true?
What about the next skit?
Turns out many people believe the actress who had played part of this Bond girl died in real life because she was painting gold for the scene. This is the kind of urban legend that often flourished in the pre-internet era, because they said that it like covered her pores and she couldn't like.
Snopes rhymes with nope.
Yeah, it does, doesn't it? Yeah. All right. Well, I guess it's an urban legend.
Yeah, dude. Mission Impossible, a little bit more action filled, I would say on the reg.
Yeah.
But also the side characters are a lot more fun because Bond, you are stuck with Bond the whole time,
Mm-hmm.
and occasionally a femme fatale and or a really kick-ass bad guy, right?
Right.
But come on, we get like some Ving Rhames, we get some Simon Pegg.
Dude. Dude, there's so many. Oh, Philip Seymour Hoffman as an incredible villain. Even the guy that played Sawyer on Lost was in one of the Mission Impossibles. That was the fucking. I'm still upset that what they did him dirty. Do you remember?
What happened?
Because he's like so good. His name's Josh Holloway, and he's like, you remember the guy from Lost? His name is Sawyer. He was like the Southern guy. He's like model hot, like super hot, like
yeah.
yeah. Well, he's like incredible on Lost, a great character on Lost. You love him, and then fucking JJ puts him in a Mission Impossible, like right in the beginning, and you're like, oh my god. Perfect casting. Josh Holloway is perfect for a Mission Impossible. He's so good. Way to go, JJ, for giving him a shot to be in a fucking big movie, big tentpole actor film. And then he dies in the first like 2 minutes of the movie.
Ghost Protocol.
Yeah. He dies so fucking fast. And dude, to this day, I'm like, you motherfucker, you could have kept him in and he'd be just as legendary as any of the other guys that have been in it since the fucking beginning.
But here's the thing, man. I'm telling you, this next one, the follow-up, the sequel, all it takes is a flashback to that scene. They're walking up to Josh Holloway's body, and they're like, oh no, Josh Holloway's dead. And they go, wait. And they reach down, they pull the off. It's not Josh Holloway. Turns out he's the bad guy. He's the AI intelligence.
Oh, shit.
The whole time.
Dude, and he's been behind all of the big, like, terrorist plots from all of the movies since Ghost Protocol. And what if he has like a cool like cyborg he's got like a gut like a cyborg eye.
It's not AI he's battling it. He's battling a guy.
He's battling AI that's got sent it an a guy. I want a movie called A Guy.
Imagine the reveal. Oh my god. Ethan! It's not AI!
Dude, I love it. I wanted to say really quickly, Constantine. I know it's like a super left turn.
One of my favorite movies ever, and
Dude,
I think we might get another one.
Well, yeah, you're right. You're right. Well, that was a recent announcement, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Oh shit, I forgot because I showed my girlfriend. She had never seen it, so I showed it to her last night. She was like, "I kind of want to watch something spooky. It's like Halloween season." I'm like, "Well, it's not necessarily a horror movie, but it does have like
There's some spookies,
some decent spooky stuff in it because there's demons and like possessions and shit."
Blood Man.
I hadn't. So it's not perfect because it's like a little long and it drags a little here and there, but man, that movie it holds up. It holds up because it's Keanu Reeves doing like an action movie just like you love.
Mm-hmm.
It's got John Wick DNA in it.
Yep.
And something I noticed too was there's like this secret club he goes to in the movie to like go talk to this other like and I'm like, what's up with Keanu movies and like secret clubs? Is that something I wonder if he suggests that when he's coming into a movie, like, I'm this like badass like hunter guy and I go to a hunter club that only hunters are allowed to be a part of, and it's like so he goes into
He's always going to the Elks Club.
yeah. And like, how many elks have you shot? Oh, I'm in the wrong one. This is not
Not that type of Elks, buddy.
It's not that kind of. It's not that kind of elk.
That movie's so good. It's so good. Tilda Swinton is awesome in it.
Dude, everybody's good in it. The guy. Remember the guy? Yeah, the guy who plays the devil in it.
One of the best takes on the devil ever.
Dude, and he's like chewing the scenery, but he's not like overboard. He's not like Jared Leto as Joker. He's like
so good.
Dude, that guy could have been a Joker. That guy could have played the Joker.
Interesting.
And I think he would have fucking killed it. Watch people who are like, "What the fuck are you talking about?" Go to YouTube and type in Constantine devil scene, and just watch that scene and tell me that fucking guy cannot be the fucking devil.
Peter
Or cannot be Peter Stormare.
Yeah.
Dude, tell me that guy can't play the Joker. Would nail a Joker.
One of the best character actor that guy's ever.
I agree, dude. I agree.
Armageddon, one of the best parts. Minority Report, one of the best parts. He's so good.
He's kind of like a secret weapon when you need like a left field casting choice where you're like, oh, this guy's gonna. You can't not look at him. It's the only time you can put Keanu Reeves in a scene with one other person, and you're not just staring at Keanu Reeves. You're like, suddenly someone else has taken over the spotlight, and you're like, motherfuck, this guy's really good. But one other thing about Constantine is, what the fuck was I gonna say? God, it's so good. Oh well, fuck it.
Wait a minute. Hold up a second. I gotta see if this is fake news, Steve. Hold on.
What do you got? What do you got for me?
11 days ago? Constantine 2, next chapter? Trailer?
Wait, what? Wait, no.
No, is this fake? Come on, this is fake. Am I crazy?
No.
Gotta be fake.
I'm looking right now at. What the fuck?
It's fake. It's gotta be fake.
Wait, 2 weeks ago, I've got 2 weeks ago, an article from IGN says Constantine 2 producer, quote, too scared to read script because, quote, I want it to be good so bad.
It's okay. So the script is nearing completion, is what I'm reading. What is this Constantine 2 next chapter bullshit?
Is the one where he's got like chains on him or something? Or he's got.
Hey, Constantine.
Okay, it's fake. Okay, good. Somebody's like,
Pieces of shit. Okay, okay, so we're coming near the end of the show here, and I wanna very briefly talk about I saw the TV glow. And then I want to leave you with a really quick hypothetical.
okay.
Oh, also, man, there was a lot to talk about today. I want to just throw this at you. You can either respond and we could talk about it, or we could just completely move on after I read this piece of information to you, okay?
Okay.
Do you know who the Hawk Tuah girl is?
You're talking about how she has the number 3 podcast.
The
in the world right now?
number 3 podcast on Spotify in the US after the Joe Rogan Experience and the Tucker Carlson show.
Yeah.
What this timeline is fucked.
It is
It's inconceivable.
it's very now, isn't it?
It just I can't like
I'm at the point where it doesn't bother me. I'm at the point where I'm like, well, that makes sense. I get it. Will it stay at number 3? Probably not.
that's the thing.
I will say, for somebody that has taken her 15 minutes of fame and turned it into something, I saw a comment saying, like, she's kind of done it in the classiest way. And, like, I don't think she's been leaning into the hot Tuah part of it all, and she's kind of parlaying it smartly into something else.
Except the show is called Talk Tuah.
That's pretty funny, though.
And I think it's
That's funny. Talk Tuah? Talk Tuah me.
dude, I'm telling you, like, maybe I should get into podcast producing because I've got so many. I want to reach out to Dolly Parton's people and be like, I beg your pardon is a great podcast idea.
Or Talking 9 to 5.
Or Talking 9 to 5. Or Talking 9 to 5 would be a good one for some millennial women or millennial girls to revisit the movie 9 to 5 and then and talk about it with through the glasses of a millennial woman and see what that's
Or we bring back Gene Hackman for his podcast because he just wants to do something in entertainment, and we call it Gene Chapman.
I was gonna say Hackman Fever.
Here's the
Anyway.
thing. I know nothing about her other than the things I've seen and maybe a follow-up clip here or there. There is something about the Hawk Tuah clip. The reason it went viral for
No,
many...
there isn't.
Listen.
No, there is not
There is.
something about it. There is something about it. I'll tell you what it is once you tell me yours.
There's all the reasons it went viral, but I will contend, if you're being very honest, there's a spark of, oh, that girl actually is funny in there. I think she's a funny person. I think she has time. And there's some charisma in that moment. So if they can parlay that side of it all into something, good for her. Maybe there is talent there. Maybe she's one of the ones that kind of, it goes somewhere.
Well, in the spirit of you, of Joe, I always love this about you. In the spirit of you wanting to be like, look, we can kind of shit on something, but let's also say something kind of nice to kind of leave us without the bad taste in our mouths, or so that we don't just sound like crotchety men. But what I will say is, I guess I agree with you that like, she took her 15 minutes and did a little something more productive and smart with it, rather than just kind of like going cringe and like making music videos or something, or like, you know, or making a song called Hawk Tuah, like, you know, whatever. She did, but it like blows my mind that it's like, is this how bored we are as a society, that like, you know, it's like I think people are desperate for like a way to like laugh about taboo. There's an entire generation or an entire group of people that like don't really talk about sexual things and aren't really as perverse as we can be sometimes, and kind of keep to themselves when it comes to sex. It's like a sacred thing that you don't really talk about. And when someone comes out and overtly says some kind of thing about sex, or says some kind of sexual thing, but in a way that isn't taboo, is kind of funny and silly and like tongue-in-cheek and not necessarily mean or mean-spirited or anything like that, it makes the regulars go like, oh, they're talking about blowjobs, but they're talking about it in a way that I can talk about it with my coworkers and not get fired. And I think that's what blew up the Hawk Tuah thing, was that like without saying like I got a blowjob last night, or without saying like this is how you do a hand job or a blowjob, you could just be like Hawk Tuah, and everyone's like, yeah, I know what that means, and it doesn't have to be overtly sexual.
Do you know what that is? It's good stand-up. Like that was.
It's good stand-up. It is
a really good joke in a charismatic way. Now, if I wanted to dig deeper into that even a little bit more, I would say, I don't know if it's boredom, but I do think there is this ADHD version of like no attention.
Definitely.
Definitely. But within that bubble, there is still this natural human inclination for us to love a rags to riches story and to like build that person up.
Oh, sure. We love an underdog. And
what I'm scared for her is when they turn and then they love to tear it down. So I hope that doesn't happen to her.
I know. I think, you know what it'll be? Do you remember the like Catch Me Outside girl? Or what is that?
She's still killing it.
Is she?
Yes.
I haven't heard from her in a minute. What is she up to? She has a podcast?
He turned it into like a legit music career, I think.
The podcast is called Cash Me Inside, and it's an I don't even know,
dude. Still killing it.
That's insane to me.
Well,
I mean, well, you know what's interesting, Joe, is like I don't really even remember what it was. What the Cash Me Out? Can you explain what Cash Me Outside was?
Dr. Phil, and she was a mouthy little, like foul-mouthed Southern girl, like I think, yelling at the audience, yelling at her mom, yelling at Dr. Phil, and said, "I'll kick your ass. You can cash me outside." Like she was just
like come out and fight me. Like Cash Me Outside is like let's fight.
So she.
I can't believe I'm just learning what it is.
Just put her name in, and there's this record. Can we please talk about Bhad Bhabie, aka Cash Me Outside Girl, having a nomination for Billboard's Music Awards?
Well, good for her, man. That's awesome. You know what? There's also Jesus fucking Christ. We're old. We're dying, Joe. Dude, there's also something to be said about the like Because this is also a Southern girl, right? Like this is a Southern, like, is it a Southern belle? This the Cash Me Outside girl, is she like?
I'm not quite sure. I do want you to know she paid 6.1 million for a Florida mansion in cash.
Jesus fucking Christ. I also think that there's an entire group of people that like to see themselves represented in the media in some way. Like, you know, someone who's like, you know, it kind of connects to the Trump
9
shit.
million followers on Instagram.
How many?
18.9.
See, so there's like, because I mean, even in this article title, it says it's the third most popular podcast on Spotify after Joe Rogan and after Tucker Carlson. So there's clearly a group of people that feel represented by that kind of, like, you know, not, this isn't, I mean, it's a bad thing overall, but the whole Trumpism of it all, the whole, like, this is a guy that talks the way I talk to my friends.
Yep.
This is a girl who talks to the way I talk to my friends. And you're right, it's an underdog thing more than anything, but it's an underdog. It's a representative of the underdogs of a certain type of people.
Yeah, for some, I think.
Right?
Yeah.
Because we like an underdog that's like a nice guy that gets everything he's ever wanted, or a nice girl that gets everything they've ever wanted. But this kind of underdog is like a regular old, you know, kicking back some brewskis kind of, you know, like, you know, there's all sorts of types of underdogs, I guess. Is this racist?
Way to talk about.
Wait, am I being racist? All right, let's move on. I don't want to talk about this fucking woman anymore. Good for her, though. Good for her. Make your money, whatever. It just blows my fucking mind that we're so entertainment starved, that we're just, or like something. I don't know what I think we've circled around what it is. It's a mixture of all these kinds of things, but you know, but more so than anything, Joe, I think you're right. I think she wrote a good joke, like a stand-up comedian would. And if Jim Gaffigan did a Hawk Tuah joke, it would be the most shared clip in the world, probably. And so good for her for writing a really good joke.
Very interesting that you said Jim Gaffigan too. Did you see his little cameo on Saturday Night Live yesterday?
No, was he good? Did he do great?
They did an opening political thing to start the season, 50th season, by the way.
Damn.
And they brought Maya Rudolph back as Kamala Harris.
Oh, love her.
And she calls out her husband, Doug, and Doug comes out. It's Andy Samberg, killing it.
Oh my God. I just got chills. That sounds like a
My
fun.
vice president, Tim Walz, Jim Gaffigan.
Dude, that's, oh my God. Wait,
And
so
then-
are they locked in as those characters? Oh my God.
But wait, I'm not done, Steve. And then they cut to Trump's press conference, and you got God, I feel so bad I'm forgetting his name, but the SNL guy that's playing Trump right now, and he does it so good.
Yeah, he's good. He does the best impression of Trump that there is. Like, he doesn't quite look like him, but he does the impression perfectly.
Yes. Hold on, I want to say his name. I can't believe I'm forgetting it. What the hell's his name? James Austin Johnson. Mm-hmm. He does his thing, and then they call out J.D. Vance, and you're like, oh my God, who's going to be
Who's it going to be?
Bowen Yang is playing.
Oh my fucking God.
And it's so funny because J.D. Vance is being played by
that's
an
so
Asian
good.
gay man, which is amazing. But then you're like, okay, this is one of the greatest.
Nothing funnier.
Nothing else is going to happen. And then Kamala Harris, they cut back to Kamala Harris, and she's like, I want to call out one of my favorite men, Joe Biden. They bring out Joe Biden. Guess who's playing Joe Biden?
I can't wait. Who is it?
Dana Carvey.
No! Oh God, that's so good! No way!
Yep.
Oh, our boy is back!
Yep.
Our boy is back! Oh,
should watch it.
that's so good. Damn.
Great
So are
call.
they sticking around? Are they sticking around? Oh my God, that's so good. Dude, SNL could get me to watch it again if everyone's sticking around.
Just at least the cold opens.
Wasn't who did Melissa McCarthy play? That was kind of fun. She was a politician too.
Dawn Spicer.
Yeah. And, dude, I love when they flip the script like that, and they just do like fucking dude. That's so great, brilliant. I'm
Anyway,
surprised Alec Baldwin. What happened with Alec? How come he's not in it? Alec Baldwin was a great Trump. What happened to him? He's
probably staying away from it.
anyway. I'm just joking. Okay, I saw the TV Glow. Quick.
Really, I liked it. I thought it was a very interesting take. I went in pretty cold. I knew that people really liked it, and I knew it was kind of a curveball of a film. The twist was very interesting. The end was very interesting. I loved the visuals of it. It was kind of a throwback to. They were saying it was 90s, but I felt like it was a little bit more 80s vibe.
Yeah.
Acting was great. I watched it with my daughter, and I turned to her afterwards, and I went, I think this is your generation's Donnie Darko.
Yeah.
She said to me, Donnie Darko is way better.
I mean, Donnie Darko is a little bit more of an accessible movie. I think I saw the TV Glow is a little bit of a mumblecore kind of indie thing.
Mumblecore is a great way to kind of describe how they go through that.
Right?
Really cool, I loved when they finally focused on Mr. Melancholy and like
Dude.
up of his face like that. I don't know why movie is being categorized as horror sometimes, but
I
that
agree.
moment was kind of horror,
Yeah.
which was cool.
Yeah.
But I thought it was super interesting. And then, of course, as a old white cis man, I did not see the correlation between the trans.
Neither did I, dude. I didn't initially either.
Yeah, very interesting.
I was really happy to read about that though, because I feel like we're starting to get a lot of like filmmakers that have stories to tell, that have like something to say. Young filmmakers, young writers, and that are like coming out with their versions of how it felt to be a certain type of person, or how it felt to struggle with being trans or gay or whatever. And I loved this take on it. Like initially I didn't quite understand the trans connection.
Right over
It
my
went
head.
right over my head, but the spirit of what they were doing did not.
Yeah.
Like it to me, Joe, it felt like for some reason I connected with it it really well in the sense that it kind of nailed what it felt like for our generation, or at least for the kind of the misfits, the people that felt like they didn't quite belong. I think it nailed that feeling of like sitting somewhere with a comic book and having some other weirdo come up to you and go like, "Oh my God, you read that?" Like, like I would read like John and Vasquez shit. Like, the guy that did Invader Zim, he did like a bunch of comics before Invader Zim. Like, what was it? Like something Johnny the Homicidal Maniac. Do you remember these?
Well, yeah.
That's a deep cut, bro.
Oh crap!
Yeah, Johnny the Homicidal Maniac. That was like our Salad Fingers, kind of like, yeah. Right? And it was like the precursor to Zim. And so I remember reading those books in high school, and some like cool, weird, other misfit would be like, "Whoa, you read that?" And then, or like, I'd have like a Mr. Show sticker or something, and they'd be like, "You watch Mr. Show?" And I just like really emotionally connected with those characters, especially the like weird sleepovers where you'd go to their house and you're like, what is this family I hear yelling upstairs in a way I've never heard, and you're like,
You find a corner.
you
and
find a corner and you just hide. Yeah.
bubble of the thing that you like in the moment.
Yeah,
Friends, and that was your escapism, and
exactly.
allow yourself for a second and connect with humanity. I totally see what you're talking about,
Dude, and it just really grabbed me on that, in that way. And I even had a friend that like would disappear like that character in the movie did, and then you'd be like, "Where the fuck were you?" And then they'd come back and be like, "Well, I was in a mental institution because I was like hurting myself." This is real, dude. This was a real friend I had. And so watching the movie, I was like, this is really well done in the way that that's what it felt like to be a misfit at a time when being a misfit wasn't super cool yet.
no internet, so you couldn't get away. You couldn't find people to connect.
You had
to.
no one to connect to. You had to literally hope that and get lucky that there's some other weirdo in your school, in your town, whatever, in your vicinity that you could connect with. And I totally had that experience in high school, and this movie like nailed that, I feel like. And also, dude, how perfect was the TV show that they bonded on, like the way that it looked to them, and then you get the real version of it later and you're like, dude, that I've never seen a more perfect representation of what it's like to watch something as a kid and have this is the most amazing thing I've ever seen kind of feeling, and then revisiting it as an adult and going like, what the fuck was I thinking? This is awful. Like this looks like shit. This doesn't
sad, like loss of innocence.
Yeah, dude, and your imagination made it bigger than it actually was. And you're like, man, this is like I kind of feel like, you know, this person watched Erie, Indiana or something and was like,
it was like,
right?
Did you ever watch the show Ghost Rider?
Yes, it was like all their shows combined.
Ghost Rider meets Power Rangers.
Yeah, perfect. So, and then obviously the struggling with your identity, struggling with who you are is just kind of like a feeling a lot of the misfit people that I knew had. And it turned out a lot of them were struggling with, you know, feelings of, am I gay? Am I straight? What am I? Am I a man? Am I a woman? And I think that it was just like a really, a concise way to explain probably what that feeling is like. And also I was fooled by the horror aspect of it too, because I was told it was a horror, it was marketed as a horror, and then I remember feeling like, well, this isn't necessarily a horror until it gets to that guy you were talking about where you see his face and it's all fucking scary.
Such a cool effect.
So cool. The visual effects are incredible. There are just some moments that are very uncomfortable in the movie. And then I realized that, well, it is a horror because it must feel like you're in a horror movie, not knowing how to express who you are, not being who you are, and hiding yourself inside.
And with the concept of you have to kill yourself to become yourself.
Yeah, dude, and that's like something that like we won't fully relate to because that's not who we are, but there are so many people who I talk to or friends who are a bit younger than me who saw it and said, I was bawling in the theater. Other people, you could hear other people crying in the theater because it spoke to them in a way that like we can't understand, you know? And I think it's so important for there to be art like that is so powerful for certain people who don't know how to express these feelings. And I think it's like an incredible way to represent that, you know? So I highly recommend it. Very high marks from me.
Right. Agreed. And ending is very interesting too. Leaves you thinking.
Absolutely. And I do agree with your daughter, actually. Like, it's not as good as Donnie Darko, but it's because Donnie Darko's a little easier to swallow, even though it's kind of not.
I don't know if it is. I still don't know if I understand.
I guess that's true, huh? There's like some time travel shit, and you're like, why? What? Anyway, all right. I love you, Joe.
Love you, dude.
Sending love to Elliott and Kevin and everybody. Happy birthday to Grace.
Yeah, happy birthday, Grace.
And I hope you enjoy the rest of your weekend, Joe, and I hope everyone listening enjoys whatever their day is like and the rest of their lives.
Okay. Bye.
Bye.